Hassan and you're watching Everyday Dish TV. Today we're making mini vegan pumpkin pies and they're fantastic for Thanksgiving, but they're delicious any time of the year. So let's go ahead and jump right into this recipe. Now to begin with, we're going to make the crust. So what we need is some finely crushed graham crackers. Now these graham crackers I put in the food processor, but if you can't find vegan graham crackers, you can use vegan animal crackers, whatever you need. Whatever you can find is perfect. All right, now we have some melted earth balance, and we're gonna go ahead and put that in. And earth balance is really my preference because it just gives such a great flavor to this. And a little bit of brown sugar. Put that in, and we're gonna mix it up. And you just mix it until it all comes together. This is what you want it to look like, all mushed together, having the earth balance all evenly distributed amongst the crumbs. That's what I was trying to say. All right, and then you're gonna just divide it up between your little pie tins here. And one really easy way to get the crumbs in, I mean, you can use your fingers, but I really like to use a spoon, or a measuring cup works really well too, depending on the size. And you just wanna really press them in there. And where you want to have them a little thicker is the bottom and the bottom edges right around there on the sides, which will make it hold your pie filling really well. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin either, or else they're really, really fragile. And then you can play with it. I mean, if you want it decorative on the side, you can press it in kind of fancy with your fingers. It just depends. I mean, you are the pie artist here, so whatever you want. I'm gonna keep doing these pie shells. Now, although I said to make it thicker at the bottom, it doesn't mean like thick. You just want it slightly thicker than it is on the sides. And that will just keep your pie intact. But you really do want to firmly press it down, which will keep it from getting soggy once we add the filling. Okay, so now our crusts are done. Those lovely crumb crust. Don't worry if you have a few extra crumbs left over. Sometimes it happens, no big deal. Put those aside. They're kind of fun to sprinkle on top of the pies anyways. Now we're gonna make the filling. So for the filling, we need pumpkin. Canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. And although it's great to make it from scratch, your pumpkin, it's much wetter that way, and then it'll make a soggy pumpkin pie. So you really, the canned stuff, I hate to say it, but it's best. It really does work best. All right, so we're gonna add our canned pumpkin into the blender. Now don't worry, the recipe is on the Everyday Dish website, so you can print the whole thing off. All right, now we're gonna add, oh, and here's the magic ingredient, 1 box of Morinu silken tofu. This is an extra firm, which is what you want, but you can use here I'm gonna try and tip it on its side, but I opened it, so I don't want it to leak. You can use the light one, that's perfectly fine, it doesn't matter, but the firm or extra firm is great. So let's just dump that in. I promise you nobody will know that there's tofu in here. Now we have some brown sugar. Oop. Let me just pop that in the blender. All right, now we have some sherry. It doesn't really so much add a sherry flavor as it just combines with all the other ingredients to make a really nice background flavor. So we have that. Now we have some good pure vanilla. Use pure vanilla. There's nothing better. And I really like the Nielsen Massey one myself. Okay, now, and before we add the dry ingredients, we have a little bit of coconut milk. Put that in. That just adds a little bit of richness. Again, not a coconut flavor, just some really nice background creaminess. Cornstarch. Put that in there. Let me scrape that. And that'll help thicken it. We have some ground ginger. We have some ground allspice. And we have some ground cinnamon. And I'm just gonna put a tiny pinch of sea salt in there, just a tiny one. Now we're gonna blend it until it's super, super smooth. Really important, because you remember you have the tofu in there, so you don't want any little bits of tofu in there. You want it smooth and fluffy. Let's start blending. Okay, it's all blended, everything looks smooth. You'll want to stop and scrape it down halfway through. Then we need the nutmeg. Nutmeg's really important. It adds just another lovely spicy flavor to this. And we're gonna add that right in. I like to add freshly grated nutmeg. That's what this little nutmeg grater was, but they come in all different shapes and sizes, but there is nothing like fresh nutmeg. And this is what a fresh nutmeg looks like. This is actually half of it because I have grated half of it. So if you can find it, whoops, do fresh nutmeg, so good. All right, let's just give it a quick blend, just a pulse. Okay, done. Now, of course, you're gonna wanna, taste it, just make sure, but it smells so good. Then let's move these right here. And how easy is this? We can just pour it right from the blender into our shells. There we go. If you happen to have any extra, depending on the size of your pie tins, not to worry, just put it into a little ramekin. You don't even need a crust, and you can bake them in the oven that way as like a pumpkin custard, which is really good. All right, so we have our pies. I'm just gonna give it a good little shake real quick to sort of even it all out. I'm gonna open my oven. It's been preheating at 350 degrees. And I'm gonna put them in. I like to bake them on the baking sheet. I think it just helps conduct the heat a little bit better, and at the same time, it makes it so it's really easy to pull them out of the oven to check them. So we're gonna bake them in the preheated oven, and we're gonna check them in 45 minutes. So take about 45 to 55 minutes depending on your oven. Okay, they've been baking, I think 45 to 50 minutes. And they look perfect. And I will show you exactly what you want them to look like. It really depends on your oven. So I would start checking them at about 40 minutes. But, well, first of all, you want that to be like nicely browned. And they're gonna have some cracks in the top and kind of be puffed up. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want with the pies. Then what you do is you let them cool to room temperature, and you refrigerate them overnight, because that's really key. The texture is so much better the next day. So it's perfect because, like, for Thanksgiving, you can do it the day before and you don't have to worry about it, no muss, no fuss. And these are fantastic, I promise you. And if you want to, with your extra little bit of crumbs, you can decoratively just sort of sprinkle them on top like that, which makes it look, real pretty, and it hides the cracks if you don't like the cracks. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Julie Hassan. You can find this recipe and many, many other fabulous recipes on everydaydish.tv. And I will see you next time. Now go make pumpkin pies.